When you Google Karrion Kross these days, you'll find every IWC dog-whistling buzzword imaginable. The internet wrestling community is mostly a compilation of grown men who didn't quite work out in real life, so they tend to fetishize the downtrodden. Google Karrion Kross right now, and you'll find words like frustrated, contract, disappointment, we want Kross. Bullshit. No, that's not one of the Google search results, that's all me. I'm calling bullshit on all things Karrion Kross until the day he inevitably reappears on WWE TV after bouncing around in TNA and WWE ID territories like the industry-planted fake renegade he is. That's right, boys and girls. Today's secret word is bullshit. Because this entire Karrion Kross situation is a painfully obvious work in a year where WWE has become obsessed with working the boys. Today, we're going to talk about how WWE and Karrion Kross continue to manufacture sympathy with the most corporate grassroots movement I've ever seen in my life. We'll also talk about WWE's newfound obsession with the worked shoot and why Karrion Kross answers the age-old question, what would happen if Ron Killings was white? Subscribe in Yoruba. Nobody is more entertained when WWE works the dirt sheets than me. But like anything, there's a law of diminishing marginal returns. In one SummerSlam weekend alone, Seth Rollins' knee injury was revealed to be a work, and Brock Lesnar made a surprise return just weeks after Daniel Cormier helped WWE work the dirt sheets by saying Brock was on a banned list. Fantastic. But now WWE's addicted. This is their intervention. If working the boys was hard drugs, WWE would be Justin Bieber. Because now it's Karrion Kross's turn to participate in yet another elaborate work. It's even working on some of y'all niggas. I asked you, the well-endowed PWB subscriber, if this Karrion Kross situation is a work or a shoot. And 59% of you said work. That means 41% of you think it's a shoot. Kross is a favorite of The Office. Don't let anyone tell you different. There's a reason he's been on Ariel Helwani multiple times, and when he wasn't on Ariel Helwani, WWE GOAT whisperer Paul Heyman was on Ariel Helwani's show to talk about Karrion Kross. I can't remember the last time somebody's contract was up and they got a whole WWE press tour out of it, because The Office loves Kross. He's Roman Reigns, but in slow motion. Same stringy hair, same beard, similar tattoo sleeve. Karrion Kross is like watching a Roman Reigns match on a QuickTime player from '97. They've been trying to get that white man over since the stay-at-home era. And it's only now finally starting to work now that WWE has shrewdly adapted Kross's acts for the internet. During WrestleMania weekend, Karrion Kross cut one worked shoot promo after another, but it was on WWE programming. WWE even acknowledged Kross's unpredictable behavior. In addition to all those corporate perks that gave him 5 chances to fail, Kross is actually pretty friendly with many a dirt sheet stooge, and as a result, he's been able to leak stories through these sycophants designed to make you think he's leaving. Now WWE wants you to believe Karrion's contract is expired? So WWE gave Karrion Kross all that TV time and a spotlight match against Sami Zayn at SummerSlam and Night of Champions, knowing he was gonna be a free agent just days later? You sure about that? So Karrion Kross can theoretically show up on Dynamite in front of 1,200 people on any given Wednesday. You sure about that? If this angle was any more heavy-handed, it would be a knife-edge chop from Gunther. Karrion debuted part 2 of his grassroots documentary the same day his WWE contract expired. What a coincidence. There's been a lot of Karrion coincidences this month with a K. Like reports of Kross's music being removed from Spotify because this time it's real. There's reports of Karrion Kross being frustrated with his new offer because this time it's real. Karrion Kross was moved to the alumni section of WWE.com because this time it's real. Bullshit. Ashanti the Adonis' contract lapsed the same week as Karrion Kross' fake contract lapsed, but Ashanti's release was real. That nigga got fired, but not before being taken off TV and buried on the way out, the way WWE would do with anybody who's actually leaving the company. I ain't seen no Ashanti the Adonis documentary on BET, did you? In Kross's doc, he admitted that his promo from an appearance on a WWE podcast was a work. Yeah, no shit, Shooter. But now Karrion wants you to think that everything else he does is real. Sure, WWE worked people with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar and even Karrion Kross, but they swear to God that this time it's for shoot. WWE is turning Killer Kross into the 40-year-old man who cried wolf. There's a strong possibility that WWE is overthinking this entire angle and it'll backfire on them. Think about it. The audience that is rising up in support of Karrion Kross is doing so because they legitimately feel like he's being underutilized. But they're also the type of fans who will read online reports about this Karrion Kross departure possibly being a work. They don't want to be made fools of. So if they do feel like the revolution is being pimped for a manufactured push, they'll be the first ones to turn on corporate Kross, with a K. The WWE audience, both casual and hardcore, are also more tribal than ever. So among those who think Kross is actually leaving, they're more loyal to WWE than Kross. They didn't follow Sasha Banks to AEW. They didn't follow Okada to AEW. They definitely didn't follow Ricochet to AEW. So when it comes to Karrion, they're more likely to preemptively bash the guy on his way out the door rather than follow him. Right on cue, Twitter has gone from Kross's safe space to the roast of Robert Kizar. An hour in, and there's been a total of 0 Kross chants on Raw. The We Want Kross movement online versus in person. Oh, I gotta do my Jay Leno voice for this, forgive me. Well, the big story tonight is Raw came and went, and not a single chant for Karrion Kross. It's true, yeah. Have you heard about this? You seen this? You heard about this? A lot of people said they were gonna chant for him, but I guess it didn't cross their mind to. This overproduced Karrion Kross movement booked by middle-aged men is starting to feel like when you get a friend request on Facebook from your auntie. That's when you know it's time to go to Instagram. Much as I do love my aunties sending me scriptures on the Facebook. I'm sure Big Rob is channeling his real-life frustrations to play an internet wrestling character, but if you think Karrion Kross is going anywhere and this isn't all part of a WWE production, then I've got some hard drugs to sell you, Justin Bieber. Kross getting over with the IWC is a calculated worked shoot from WWE and is about as grassroots as the fake turf in front of Titan Towers. This is a grass turf movement, and God bless him, it's working. The Dirt Stooges even fell for a report that said Karrion Kross wasn't getting pushed because, get this, he wouldn't take a back bump. Karrion Kross has gone full Brian Pillman. Flying Brian was an early adapter to going out of his way to prove that he was the real deal in a sea of workers. His plan worked too well. In 1996, Pillman and WCW president Eric Bischoff worked together behind the scenes to come up with a creative way to work everybody into believing he was leaving WCW. Bischoff legitimately released Pillman from his contract to make his departure look real, because it was. So real, Brian Pillman went into business for himself and signed with WWE like the legit loose cannon he is. And unlike whatever this overproduced, heavy-handed, fake revolutionary corporate Kross stuff is, Arian Karrion is not Flying Brian. He will not be going into business for himself. He will not be appearing on AEW TV. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to continue to cut work, shoot promos in WWE safe spaces, maybe release another documentary, maybe write another book, maybe show up in TNA as Killer Kross, maybe take bookings in WWE-approved territories like GCW and Bloodsport. Then he'll resurface in WWE just in time to jump the shark. Jesus Christ, for a man who allegedly lost his job, he's appearing on WWE platforms more than he was when he was being forced down your throat in NXT. Who does Crocker think he is, Hillary Clinton? Karrion Kross is doing his best Brian Pillman impression, and in the process, Arian Karrion is actually ripping off another popular modern-day wrestler, R-Truth. Karrion Kross's contract storyline is a direct ripoff of what happened to R-Truth in real life. Truth was legit fired. People legit freaked out. Social media was set ablaze with actual demand for R-Truth to get his job back, and none of it was manufactured as part of some well-produced, well-timed documentary and book rollout. This was real life. When R-Truth was released, he made one single tweet thanking everybody, and it led to a tidal wave of outrage and support that got him rehired. Ron Killings did more with less because he had a real connection with fans. But when Karrion Kross is, quote, released, I gotta sit through an hour-long documentary of how it's not fair and he's frustrated and Karrion Kross deserves better, even though he's been given more leases on life than Jeff Hardy and CM Punk combined, not to mention this whole thing was a work to begin with, and he's still gonna get pushed. Typical hunky shit. With WWE struggling to create black stars until the inevitable African NXT takeover, R-Truth could have been a major star with 1/5 of the commitment WWE spent on all 5 of Karrion Kross's failed pushes, no offense. But R-Truth just isn't WWE's type. So they used the R-Truth model on a younger, whiter, up-and-coming star in the form of 40-year-old Aryan Karrion Kross. R-Truth was set aside, and WWE appropriated Truth's momentum for Kross. If R-Truth is Jackie Wilson, Karrion Kross is Elvis Presley. To some people, mostly the naive who spend too much time on South African Twitter, Karrion Kross is an inspirational story of the human spirit. A story of how self-promotion and persistence can take your career to new heights. But IRL, the most persistent person in the Karrion Kross story, is Triple H. WWE reinvented Karrion Kross no less than 5 times, including his current run as an internet darling in disguise. WWE timed his contract expiration with a whole book and documentary rollout. Kross's grassroots rise is nothing more than an underground press tour. Paul Heyman even messed around and said that Karrion Kross is the next Stone Cold in a moment that reminded me of when Sean Carter said Memphis Bleak is the next Jay-Z. I happen to enjoy Kross's rise in popularity, and I'm happy it's working out for all parties involved. But WWE is trying too hard to work the boys, and Karrion Kross is trying even harder to be Brian Pillman. Karrion Kross is not a loose cannon. WWE is not holding him down. In fact, they're building him up. And any idea of Karrion's contract coming to an end is straight up bullshit. I'll donate to Dr. Umar's scam of a school before I believe any of this carny bullshit. Check out this video and subscribe. Is Karrion Kross's WWE exit a shoot or is it bullshit? Tell me in the comments.